Holy shit, you guys. I don't know if you guys know this, but I fucking love Disney. I fucking love Marvel Disney products. I love giving them all of my money and going to every movie they release in the cinema. I just fucking love Marvel! Whole lot of Marvel released today and yesterday. We had a new Loki episode yesterday, then today we had the Simpsons Avengers crossover, and I just came out of the theaters from Black Widow, so I'm all full of Marvel Disney hype. You know, it's that experience after you come out of one of those big Disney movies, and you're like, that was the fucking best thing ever! Endgame was so fucking hype! And then you come out the next day, and you're like, did Ant-Man piss himself? Funny? This is a big unscripted video, obviously, and I'm just gonna sit and talk about some of it, all the Marvel content. This is good stuff.
We got London on the train.
You know, I don't want to talk about a series before it's over. You know, I think all the questions that I can sit and ask, all the nitpicks I can make, they'll probably wrap it up in the final episode. The Marvel TV shows, they have the same flaw as the early Marvel movies, where they all just kind of end with a big villain superhero battle, and it's just kind of like meh. My main concern at the moment is the little time lantern stuff was confusing enough for me. That big scene in episode 2, where Sylvie drops all the little time lanterns everywhere, and it makes all of these branches on the timeline, that never got wrapped up. They never explain, because from all my understanding is, the little lanterns reset the timeline from a certain point, and that's what fixes the branch and puts it back across the sacred timeline. But they never addressed how they fixed any of that, and how did if what they do is reset things, how did they all branch off and make separate things? The next time we see the timeline, it's fixed. It's never addressed. I'd assume we'll find out later, oh, there was an episode about that and it got deleted. The same thing happened with WandaVision. We had an episode wrapping up the little bunny character and Ralph Boner, which we just left and threw out the window and never wrapped up properly. Falcon and the Winter Soldier had a whole pandemic storyline that got scrapped because COVID-19 happened. I wouldn't be a little bit surprised if something like that happens with Loki. Sylvie got removed from her timeline because she was born female, I think? Like, the intention was... what they were trying to do is, like, she was born with the wrong chromosome, so that's why the TVA took her away. So that I can believe that, but then when they go to the end of the universe and see all the other Lokis that got sent there, how was one of them born black? This implies they would have had different parents, wouldn't it? Like, was their Nexus event that their mum fucked a black dude? And we see the whole group of other people and we're supposed to assume they're all Loki variants? It's like, they're clearly not the same person. Like, don't get me started on Alligator Loki. It's like, fucking... They address that it's silly in the show. There's no point of analyzing it. Final episode could be good. Yeah. It's all just nitpicks. It's all just, the time travel stuff doesn't make sense. It's like, of course it doesn't. It didn't make sense in Endgame. Of course it's not going to make sense in, you know, its own series.
Goodness gracious, I might give a fuck.
Star Wars Maggie Simpson short they released was fine compared to this. It was literally just reference. Look, it's Ahsoka. Look, it's this character's like Darth Maul. Look, Lando's there. Bro! And it was the most low-effort shit. I think that one, you could get away with it, because the Maggie Simpson shorts are kind of formatted like a Looney Tunes episode. This one, they try to make it like a Simpsons episode. It is the most ADHD fucking shit ever. Like, it's like fucking watching The Rise of Skywalker at twice speed. It's ridiculous. We start in Asgard. Loki's there. Loki gets sent to the Simpsons' house. The Simpsons accept Loki as one of their kids. Meanwhile, fucking Lisa Simpson gets sent off to Asgard and she becomes Thor. Like, everything fucking happens like boom, boom, boom. If you blink, there's a part where it takes place at night at the start, and then there's randomly day when we cut back, and it's like, fucking, did a day pass in like the last 3 seconds? The short, it's 6 minutes long. I think it's 3 minutes of the actual short, and then I guess it's a joke. Most of the short takes place in between the credits, and it's just little scenes. Like, we see the scene of Loki getting kicked around by Hulk, and Hulk is Ralph Wiggum. That's the joke. That's all they do. The part that fucking pissed me off the most, the main payoff to the whole short, is we see, look at all these Simpsons characters as Avengers characters. Watching this short is basically the same experience of just looking at this poster. You're not really getting that much more out of it. But what fucking pissed me off, one of the characters in the background has a little sign that says, "This is what happens when you sell The Simpsons to Disney." Like, it's this whole fucking thing of, oh, well, if we point out that we did something wrong, that makes it fine. We're self-aware. That makes it perfectly justified. It's like the fucking Cat in the Hat movie, Nostalgia Critic review. Like, fucking put a clip of that in.
Well, it's hip writing fact number 1. If you say you're doing something painful and stupid, it's immediately no longer painful and stupid.
Black Widow.
Black Widow. I don't want to sit here and make a big review of Black Widow because I've just come out of the movie theater and I don't want to go. It was fine. It's always fantastic as a cinema experience. You walk in, you have a good time, you come out. That was good. I had fun. But thinking about it as a movie, I like to think, does it have rewatch value? If I'm watching it a second time, what would I think about it? And I think it's on the same level as Doctor Strange, or like a bit higher. This movie has the worst fucking title sequence of like any Marvel movie I've seen. I don't want to spoil what song they choose, but it is the worst fucking terrible. It's god awful. And they kind of show all of these like political imagery and like fictional videos of like girls being indoctrinated into like the evil widow system, fucking some shit. It's like, is this Black Widow's aesthetic? It's not the tone of the movie. Like she's a kind of a character who's defined by the villain, really. While I hated the intro sequence, even the first opening scene of it, where with the two of them as kids, I think it was a fine action scene, but it was kind of, it was fine. But I did really like the scene of her little hideout home she has, watching James Bond on her laptop and being like, yeah, I remember all the lines. And then a generator goes out and she goes to fix the generator and she has a fight with Taskmaster at the start. I liked that because it was small scale and you could tell everything that was going on with the fight. Unlike, later on where they're fighting Taskmaster in the fucking street and they're like driving this car and the car door flies off and they run into the fucking, the car does a flip and they fall into the fucking underground and it's like, oh, she should be fucking dead. And it's like, oh no, my arm's bleeding a little bit. Fucking Age of Ultron styled action, I'm not that bugged with Taskmaster being not a big deal. It was like a completely different character to the comic books because I don't give a shit about the comic books. I'm not a nerd. I think thematically it was very similar to that ghost bitch in Ant-Man and the Wasp, where it was like some girl and they've just kind of been like, they're not necessarily evil, but they've just kind of been made a villain. Yeah. See, this is when you know it's not a good one. When you're like, it was really fucking good! But then you sit down and it's like, what did you like about it? This is a shit analysis! I hope I can save this in the edit, because I've got nothing to say. I liked how it didn't end with a big villain battle. It was more of like a spy movie crescendo, where one person's trying to escape from this part, and another person's trying to do this thing. But what fucking bugged me about that was it's all like, Black Widow's fighting the big evil dude, and just like, why can't I kill you? Oh no! And he's like, because I've sprayed myself with anti-kill smell. And it cuts to the shot of them planning the battle later. Her mummy's like, he has anti-kill smell, so do this thing. And then, we cut back and she's like, why did she act like she didn't know what was going on if she fucking planned for this? It does make for a really fun and interesting, like, oh my god, they finally did it. It's very satisfying, and that's what the Marvel movies do. No fucking in the theater, they played the fucking Venom 2 trailer. It was fucking awesome. But there was no new Venom. There's been no new Venom news since my last video, so Baxter's just getting angry. I love Disney.
I love Marvel. I love giving money to Disney when they make Marvel movies. Where's the fucking Venom news, Sony? Step your fucking game up, when's... Oh my god,
I'm actually so fucking pissed. I was just jumping around in my bed like a dipshit, and I unplugged my fucking PC, and now, like, the plug is kind of fucked. Like, I'm trying to plug it back in, and it won't turn back on.
Is this thing on? Word. So what, we get drunk. So what, we smoke weed. We're just having fun. We don't care who sees.